Welcome to the AHA Certified Healthcare Facility Manager course, updated for the year 2026. Do you want to pass the big exam and get your dream job in healthcare today? These questions come with full explanations, which will help you get your certification on the first try. Please leave your suggestions in the comments section below, so we can improve our videos for you. To learn quickly from this course, you must read slowly and repeat the main ideas out loud. Listen to me voice, pause the video when needed, and write down the notes in your book. Here is section 1, which covers the main ideas you need to know for the certification exam. Welcome to the first part of our CHFM course, where we talk about compliance and safety rules. As a healthcare facility manager, you have a big job to keep the hospital safe for everyone. We need to follow strict codes from groups like the NFPA to protect patients from fire risks. If we ignore these rules, the hospital can lose money, and patients might get hurt very badly. You must inspect the building often, fix broken things quickly, and keep good records of your work. Fire doors are very important, because they stop smoke from spreading, and give people time to escape. You have to test these fire doors every year, to make sure they close and latch correctly. When you find a broken door, you must fix it fast, or the hospital fails the inspection. The Joint Commission visits hospitals unannounced, so we must always be ready, and keep everything in order. They look at your paperwork, walk through the hallways, and ask your staff questions about safety rules. You need to teach your team about the life safety code, so they know exactly what to do. Managing the power supply is another big job, because hospitals cannot lose power, even during bad storms. We have backup generators, which must start in 10 seconds, to keep life support machinery running safely. You must test these big generators every month, under a real load, to prove they work fine. If a generator fails the test, you must repair it right away, and document everything you did. Medical gas systems are also under your control, and they give patients oxygen and other breathing gases. You have to secure the oxygen tanks, so they do not fall over and cause a big explosion. The rooms with these tanks must have good airflow to stop dangerous gases from building up inside. Water safety is another main topic, because bad bacteria can grow in the pipes and make people sick. We use a special water management program to test the water and clean the pipes very often. You must check the water temperature, keep it hot enough to kill harmful germs like Legionella bacteria. Infection control during construction is a huge deal, because dust carries germs right into the patient rooms. We use infection control risk assessments to plan safe construction work and build barriers around the dust. Negative air pressure inside the work zone keeps the dirty air from flowing into the clean hospital. Your workers must wear sticky shoes and clean their clothes before they walk out of the zone. When we work together as a team, we can solve problems and pass any big state inspection. Learn the rules, check the site, find the faults, fix the mess, and repeat the safe process. You must manage hazardous materials, like cleaning chemicals and old medicine, to protect the staff and patients. Every chemical needs a safety data sheet, which tells you how to handle it safely, without getting hurt. We train the cleaning crew to mix chemicals correctly and use protective gear, like gloves and goggles. Medical waste is completely different from normal trash, so you must put it in special red bags. Sharp items like needles go into hard plastic boxes, so they do not poke anyone taking out trash. Security is a huge part of your job, because hospitals are open all day and night long. We use cameras and locked doors to keep bad people away from the baby areas and drug rooms. You must test panic buttons at the front desk so the staff can call the police quickly. Emergency management is a plan we use when a big disaster strikes, like a tornado or large flood. You have to stock up on food, water, and medicine so the hospital can run for 4 days. We practice disaster drills twice a year, so everyone knows exactly where to go and what to do. If a fire alarm sounds, the staff must defend in place and move patients behind safe smoke doors. Elevators are off limits during a fire, so you have to use the stairs to evacuate the floor. You must check the elevator phones to make sure trapped people can talk to the rescue team. Heating and cooling systems need care to keep the patient rooms comfortable and stop germs from flying around. We change the air filters often, because dirty filters block the fresh air and make the machines break. The operating rooms need very clean air, so you must use special HEPA filters and check the pressure. If an operating room gets too hot, the doctors cannot work, and the surgery must be cancelled immediately. You are the boss of the maintenance team, so you must treat them well and listen to them. We use computer software to track work orders, so no broken items get forgotten or left behind forever. When a nurse reports a leaky sink, your team must see the ticket and go fix it quickly. Good communication makes the job easier, because everyone understands the goals and works together to stay super safe. Budgeting is another task you do, where you decide how to spend the hospital money on new equipment. You have to explain to your boss why you need a new boiler or a bigger backup generator. We always look for ways to save energy, like installing LED lights to cut down the big power bill. By saving money on power, the hospital can hire more nurses and buy better beds for sick patients. You must keep track of the spare parts in your stock room, so you never run out unexpectedly. When a belt breaks on a huge motor, having a spare belt ready saves you hours of downtime. You need to read the code books often, because the rules change, and you must know the updates. The life safety code is your best friend, and it tells you exactly how to design safe buildings. Corridors must be kept clear of clutter, so beds and wheelchairs can pass through without hitting the walls. You cannot park carts in the hallway unless they are in use for less than 30 quick minutes. Wall decorations must be limited, because too much paper on the wall can catch fire and burn quickly. We check the exit signs daily to make sure the lights are glowing bright and pointing the right way. The fire extinguishers need a monthly visual check and a yearly physical test by a trained fire professional. The staff must know where extinguishers are and how to use the pass method, to put out fires, you should feel proud of your work, because keeping the hospital safe actually saves many lives every day. Let us move forward to the questions, so you can test your knowledge and prepare for the big exam. Here are the 19 questions to test your knowledge about the things we just learned together today. Point 1. What is the main purpose of the Life Safety Code in a huge hospital building? It sets rules to protect people from fire and gives them a safe way to escape. Following these codes prevents injuries during emergencies and ensures the hospital passes the strict state safety inspections. Point 2. How often do you need to test the backup power generators under a real load? You must test the hospital generators every single month to ensure they provide power reliably. Monthly tests find hidden engine problems early, so the lights stay on when bad storms hit the city. Point 3. What is the very first step when you plan to do dusty construction in the hospital? You have to perform an infection control risk assessment before anyone starts breaking walls. This assessment identifies the dangerous dust risks and helps you build safe barriers to protect weak patients. Point 4. Why is it bad to leave carts parked in the main hospital corridors for a long time? Parked carts block the escape paths and make it hard to move patient beds quickly. Corridors must stay wide and open, so the staff can evacuate people fast during a fire alarm. Point 5. What happens if a heavy fire door fails to latch completely during your yearly safety test? You must repair the door latch immediately, so it can block the dangerous smoky perfectly. Fire doors only work if they close tight, keeping deadly smoke away from the sleeping hospital patients. Point 6. How quickly must the emergency generators start when the normal city power goes out completely? The generators must start and carry the full life safety load in just 10 short seconds. Fast power recovery is required by law to keep the breathing machines and surgery lights working flawlessly. Point 7. Where should you throw away a sharp, used medical needle to keep the cleaning team safe? You must put the sharp needle into a special, hard plastic red box right away. Hard plastic boxes stop the sharp needles from poking through the trash bag and spreading bad diseases. Point 8. What temperature should the hospital hot water system maintain to keep the dangerous germs away? The hot water needs to stay hot enough to kill nasty Legionella bacteria in the pipes. Warm water allows bacteria to grow fast, but high heat safely destroys these germs before they reach patients. Point 9. Why do hospital operating rooms need to maintain positive air pressure compared to the main hallway? Positive pressure pushes the air out, so dirty hallway germs cannot enter the clean surgery room. Keeping the dirty air out of the room protects the open surgery wounds from dangerous, floating infections. Point 10. What document must you read before handling a brand new, heavy cleaning chemical safely? You must read the safety data sheet to learn exactly how to use the chemical properly. This important sheet tells you the health risks and what protective gloves or goggles you need to wear. Point 11. How long do hospitals need to survive on their own supplies during a massive city disaster? A hospital must have enough stored food, water, and power to last for up to 4 days. Roads might be blocked after a disaster, so the hospital must take care of itself for 96 hours. 12. Why is it completely wrong to use elevators when the building fire alarms are ringing loud? Elevators might get stuck in the fire zone, trapping you in a box full of toxic smoke. You must always treat stairs during fires, because they offer a safe, fireproof path outside. 13. What does a negative pressure room do when you have a patient with a bad lung disease? It pulls air inside the room and sends it outside, so germs do not hit the hallway. This system traps the sickness inside the single room, protecting the nurses and healthy people walking past. 14. What is the main reason you must keep oxygen tanks chained up in the storage room? If a tank falls over, the top valve might break off, turning it into a dangerous rocket. Securing the heavy metal cylinders prevents huge physical accidents and stops explosive gases from leaking into the air. 15. How often must a professional team come to physically check and test your red fire extinguishers? A trained professional must inspect the fire extinguishers once every single year to keep them completely legal. While your staff does visual checks monthly, the yearly test makes sure the internal pressure remains perfectly strong. 16. Why is preventative maintenance so much better than just waiting for hospital equipment to break down? Preventative care finds small problems early, which saves you lots of money and avoids dangerous emergency breakdowns. Greasing motors and changing filters on time extends the machine lifespan and keeps the whole hospital running smoothly. 17. What is the defend-in-place strategy that hospitals use during a loud fire alarm event? Staff close the heavy smoke doors and move patients to a safe zone on the same floor. Sick patients are too weak to use stairs, so we protect them behind firewalls until help arrives. 18. Why do hospital maintenance managers use a computerized system to track all the open work orders? The computer system organizes the jobs, so nothing gets lost, and managers can track the repair times. Tracking the repairs helps you see which old machines break the most, so you can replace them easily. 19. How does changing air filters regularly help the hospital save a lot of money on electricity bills? Clean filters allow air to flow easily, so the big fan motors do not have to work hard. When motors run with less effort, they use less power, which lowers your massive monthly utility costs significantly. Welcome back to Section 2, where we learn about hospital maintenance and keeping the machine running smoothly. We need to check the heating and cooling systems to make sure patients stay perfectly comfortable. The big air handlers push fresh air around, which helps stop bad germs from spreading easily. You must replace the dirty air filters on time, so the motors do not work too hard. The chillers sit on the roof, and they make cold water to cool the entire big hospital. If a chiller breaks in a hot day, the surgery rooms get too warm to use safely. We use a cooling tower to release the heat, but you must keep the tower water clean. Dirty cooling towers can grow deadly bacteria, so with special chemicals, to keep the water safe, The boiler room is like the heart, because it pumps steam and hot water everywhere you go. You useth hot steam to sterilize the surgery tools, so doctors can operate without causing infections. We must inspect the heavy pressure valves, to make sure the big boilers do not explode suddenly. A daily log book helps you track the boiler temperature, and notice any strange pressure changes quickly. Medical air compressors are machines that make clean air, for sick patients who need help to breathe. You have to change the filters on these compressors, so no oil gets into the patient tubes. Vacuum pumps are also very important, because doctors use suction to clean wounds during a long surgery. We place these loud machines in a locked room, so they do not bother the sleeping patients. Electrical systems in a hospital are huge, and they use a lot of power every single day. We have a normal city power, but we also use giant batteries to keep computers on during storms. You must test the transfer switches, which move the power from the city line to the generator. These heavy switches must work fast, so the life support machines never shut off by bad accident. Let us talk about saving energy, because hospital power bills can cost millions of dollars every year. You can install bright LED lights in the hallways, to use less electricity and save good money. We also use motion sensors in the bathrooms, so the lights turn off when nobody is inside. Saving energy protects the environment, and gives the hospital more money to buy better medicine for patients. Plumbing is another huge job, because hundreds of sinks and toilets are used all day and night. When a pipe leaks behind a wall, you must shut off the water valve and fix it. We put trap primers in floor drains to keep a little water in the curved pipes. This water trap stops bad sewer smells from coming up and making the sick patients feel worse. You have to manage the grounds outside, like the parking lots, the sidewalks, and the green grass. In the winter season, you must clear the white snow and put salt on the icy walkways. If someone slips in the hard ice, they can break a bone and sue the hospital badly. The helipad on the roof must stay totally clear, so the rescue helicopter can land very safely. The fire alarm panel is the brain of safety, and it watches the whole building for smoke. If a smoke detector finds a small fire, the big panel flashes lights and rings loud bells. You must hire a licensed company to clean and test every single smoke detector once a year. We never ignore a flashing fire alarm panel, because a real fire can spread in 2 minutes. Security systems need your attention too, like the card readers we use to open the locked doors. When a nurse loses her plastic badge, you must cancel her card to keep the building safe. The security cameras help the guards watch the parking lot and find anyone who steals a car. You must clean the camera lenses and check the video hard drives to ensure they record properly. Preventative maintenance is your best tool to stop big expensive machines from breaking down on a weekend. You create a schedule to grease the moving parts and check the heavy belts on the motors. When you take care of the equipment, it lasts many years longer and runs smoothly without noise. If you skip this routine work, the machines will burn out, and you will work all night. You must manage outside contractors carefully when they come to fix the big elevators or the roof. We always make sure they sign in at the desk and wear a temporary badge for safety. You have to explain the hospital safety rules, so they do not make a huge, dusty mess. When they finish the dirty job, you must inspect their work before you pay the large bill. Let us discuss the tube system, which shoots plastic bottles of medicine all over the large hospital. This air system works like a vacuum, moving the small bottles very quickly through the hidden walls. If a tube gets stuck inside the wall, you have to find it and pull it out. We clean the tubes often, because your spilled blood sample can ruin the whole air pressure system. You need a good tool inventory to keep track of the expensive drills and heavy metal wrenches. When a worker finishes a repair job, they must clean the tools and put them away properly. Missing tools cost the hospital a lot of money and slow down the next big repair job. We keep the tool room locked at night, so nobody can borrow a drill without asking you. The kitchen equipment is also your responsibility, because the chefs need to feed hundreds of hungry patients. You must fix the huge walk-in freezers, so the raw meat and vegetables stay safely frozen. If the freezer breaks, the food goes bad, and the hospital loses a lot of expensive supplies. We also check the kitchen fire suppression system to stop grease fires from burning the whole room. Medical waste must be handled very carefully to stop the spread of nasty germs to the public. Use special trucks to haul away the red bags, which are full of dangerous bloody trash. We keep the trash room very cold, so the garbage does not smell bad or attract bugs. You must train your team to wash their hands after they touch the dirty medical waste bins. The automatic doors at the main entrance are used thousands of times every single day of the week. You must check the motion sensors so the heavy doors do not close on a sick patient. We adjust the closing speed carefully to give slow people enough time to walk through the doors. If a door breaks off the track, you must fix it fast to keep the heat inside. Painting the walls might seem simple, but you must use safe paint that does not smell terrible. We paint the damaged walls quickly, so the hospital looks very clean and professional for new visitors. A clean building makes the patients feel calm and trust the doctors to cure their bad sickness. You keep spare paint in a fireproof metal cabinet, because wet paint can start a dangerous fire. Now we have covered the main duties of running the daily operations in a huge hospital building. You must review these notes often, so you remember all the details for your big certification exam. Managing a hospital takes a smart team, and you are the strong leader who guides them safely. Let us jump to the next section and test your brain with 19 new, very helpful questions. Point 1. Why do we put special trap primers on the hospital floor drains? Trap primers keep water in the pipe to stop bad sewer smells from entering the room. The small amount of water blocks harmful, stinky sewer gases from reaching the sick hospital patients. Point 2. What happens if a hospital cooling tower gets too dirty during the hot summer months? Dirty cooling towers can easily grow deadly Legionella bacteria, which makes the sick patients even worse. You must clean the tower water with special strong chemicals to stop this dangerous bacteria growth. Point 3. Why do we keep the hospital medical waste room very cold at all times? A cold room stops the bloody garbage from smelling terrible and keeps annoying bugs away safely. Freezing temperatures slow down the nasty bacteria growth, keeping the trash area clean and safe daily. Point 4. How do bright LED lights help the hospital save money for the patient care budget? LED lights use much less electricity, which lowers the massive power bill for the huge building. Saving money on utility bills gives the hospital extra cash to hire more amazing, helpful nurses. Point 5. What is the main reason we keep spare parts inside the locked maintenance stock room? Spare parts allow your busy team to fix broken machines quickly, without waiting for slow shipping. Having an extra fan belt on the shelf prevents hours of terrible downtime for the hospital. Point 6. Why must you test the electrical transfer switches connecting the city power to the generator? You test the heavy switches to prove they can move power fast during a bad storm. If the switch gets stuck, the backup generator cannot send its power to the hospital lights. Point 7. Why do we place loud vacuum medical pumps in a completely separate, locked mechanical room? We hide these noisy machines so they do not bother the tired patients trying to sleep. A quiet hospital environment helps sick people heal much faster without hearing loud, banging motor noises. Point 8. What is the very first thing you do when a pipe bursts inside a patient wall? You must immediately find and close the main water valve to stop the massive floor flood. Turning off the heavy water flow prevents severe water damage to the expensive hospital computer equipment. Point 9. Why must outside construction contractors sign in at the front desk and wear a badge? Badges help you track who is inside the building and keep the hospital safe from strangers. Knowing exactly where contractors are working helps you protect patients from dangerous construction dust clouds. 10. How does a daily boiler logbook help you run the hospital heating system safely? The logbook helps you track daily temperatures and notice any strange pressure changes very quickly. Catching a pressure problem early prevents the giant metal boiler from exploding and destroying the building. Point 11. Why do we use a special air tube system hidden inside the hospital wall spaces? The air tube system moves small medicine bottles to the patient floors in just a minute. This fast system saves the nurses a long walk, so they can spend time treating sick patients. Point 12. What do you do when a nurse loses her plastic security badge on the street? You must cancel her lost card immediately in the computer system to keep the building safe. Canceling the lost card stops bad strangers from finding it and sneaking into the drug room. Point 13. Why must the hospital roof helipad remain totally clear of snow during the cold winter? The helipad must be perfectly clear so the rescue helicopter can land safely with injured people. If the helipad is icy or blocked, the flying helicopter might crash on the hospital roof. Point 14. How does scheduled preventative maintenance save you money on the large hospital repair budget yearly? Greasing motors on time stops them from breaking, which saves you from buying expensive new parts. Taking good care of older equipment extends its working life and avoids terrible emergency breakdown situations. Point 15. Why do we keep all the wet, smelly paint inside a fireproof heavy metal cabinet? Wet paint and strong chemicals can catch fire easily, so the metal cabinet stops the flames. Storing dangerous chemicals safely follows the strict fire codes and protects the building from massive fires. 16. Why must you adjust the closing speed of the heavy automatic doors at the entrance? You adjust the speed to give slow, sick patients enough time to walk through without injury. A fast door might hit an old person in a wheelchair, causing a terrible, painful accident. 17. Why do you need a licensed fire company to test the smoke detectors every year? The law requires a professional fire expert to ensure the detectors work perfectly during a fire. Using a certified company keeps you legal and guarantees the alarms will waketh sleeping patients. 18. What happens to the expensive hospital food if the large kitchen walk-in freezer breaks? The frozen meat and fresh vegetables will get warm, spoil quickly, and cause food poisoning risks. Fixing the freezer fast saves thousands of dollars and ensures the patients get safe, healthy meals. 19. Why must workers clean the metal wrenches before returning them to the maintenance toolroom? Clean tools are ready to use for the next emergency, and they last a longer time. Taking care of expensive metal tools prevents awful rust and helps the busy team work faster. Welcome to the third section of our course, where we talk about managing the hospital money today. As a facility manager, you must understand how to spend the budget wisely every single day of work. These questions come with full explanations, which will help you get your certification on the first try. Please leave your suggestions in the comments section below, so we can improve our videos for you. To learn quickly from this course, you must read slowly and repeat the main ideas out loud. We look at two main types of budgets, which are called the operating and capital budgets, right now. The operating budget pays for daily things, like light bulbs, cleaning supplies, and your team's monthly salary. The capital budget is for big items, like new boilers, or a whole new hospital wing. For patients, you must plan these big purchases years in advance, so the hospital has enough cash ready to pay. When you buy new equipment, you have to look at the total cost of ownership very carefully. This includes the price of the machine, the cost to install it, and the regular repair parts, too. Sometimes a AHIMA machine costs more money later, because it breaks down every single month. During the year, you should always choose high-quality items to save the hospital money over many long years of service. We use a process called competitive bidding to get the best price from different outside sellers every time. You ask 3 different companies to give you a quote, then you pick the best one. For us, managing your staff is the biggest expense, so you must track the work hours very carefully each week. We use a term called full-time equivalent to measure how many workers we really need for jobs. If you have too many workers standing around, the hospital loses money on the high labor costs daily. If you have too few workers, the machines break down, and the building becomes unsafe for everyone. You must find the perfect balance to keep the hospital running well, without overspending the budget. This year, inventory management is another task, where you keep track of all the spare parts you own right now. You should not buy too many parts at once, because that money is stuck on a shelf doing nothing. But if you have 0 parts, you cannot fix a broken pipe during a midnight emergency, in surgery. Use a computer system to track your stock, so you know exactly when to order more from vendors. Good records help you prove to your boss that you are using the hospital money responsibly and safely. Contracts with outside companies must be reviewed to make sure the hospital gets a fair deal every time. Some companies charge too much for simple repairs, so you must read the fine print clearly before signing. You should check their insurance papers to make sure they are covered if an accident happens on site. Negotiate for better rates every year to keep your costs low and your budget in good shape, always. A good facility manager is also a smart business person who cares about the bottom line and safety. Energy management is a great way to show your boss that you can save real money very quickly. We track the use of water, gas, and electricity to find where we are wasting too much daily. By fixing leaky steam valves, you can save thousands of dollars on the monthly heating bill this winter. Small changes like adding insulation to pipes can pay for themselves in just a few months of time. Always look for rebates from the power company to help pay for new energy-saving machines for us. Asset management means knowing the age and the condition of every machine in your building right now today. You should keep a list of all big machines and track when they need replacement in the future. If you know a chiller is 20 years old, you can ask for money before it dies suddenly. This prevents emergency situations where you have to buy a new machine at a very high price quickly. Planning ahead makes you look like a pro and keeps the hospital staff very happy and safe too. You must also understand the concept of return on investment for every project you start today and tomorrow. If a new motor costs $5,000 but saves $1,000 every year, it is a deal. It will take 5 years to get your money back, which is a very smart deal for us. Share these numbers with your boss to prove that your maintenance projects are worth the high cost now. Using data makes it easier to get approval for the big repairs your building really needs to run. Training your team is an investment that pays off by reducing the number of costly mistakes in the building. When your technicians know how to fix a machine, you do not have to call contractors for help. Paying for a training class today saves you from paying a huge repair bill next week, for sure. A smart team works faster, stays safer, and keeps the hospital equipment in top-notch condition for years. Encourage your workers to learn new skills so they can grow within your great facility team very fast. Record keeping is a big part of the job, and you must document every dollar you spend Carefully save all your receipts and invoices in a safe digital folder, so you can find them later, easily. When auditors come to visit, you must show them exactly where the hospital money went, and why. Good records protect your job, and show that you are an honest and careful facility manager, every day. Never skip the paperwork, because it is the proof of all your hard work and success. For us, communication with the finance department is a skill you must practice every single day of work, sir. They speak a different language of numbers, so you must learn to explain things very simply, for them. Tell them how a new roof prevents water damage, and saves the hospital from expensive mold and leaks. When they see the value of your work, they will give you more budget money for repairs. Building strong relationships with other bosses makes your life as a manager much easier and better for all. Value engineering is a method used to reduce costs while keeping the quality of the project high and safe. You look at the design of a new room and find ways to build it for less money. This does not mean using cheap materials, but finding smarter ways to get the same good result together. Your goal is to provide a safe space for patients without wasting the hospital's limited cash on things. Be a leader who thinks about the future and protects the financial health of the healthcare system daily. Managing the supply chain means you must have good relationships with the people who sell you parts today. Sometimes parts are delayed, so you must order them early to avoid long waits for repair now. If a critical part is missing, a whole operating room might shut down, which is very bad, indeed. Keep a list of backup vendors, so you have someone to call if your main supplier fails. Being prepared for delays is part of being a professional facility manager in the world, today and forever. 1. What is the difference between an operating budget and a capital budget in a hospital? Operating budgets cover daily costs like salaries, while capital budgets pay for big, expensive new machines. Knowing the difference helps you ask for the right money for both small repairs and big projects. Point 2. Why should you look at the total cost of ownership before buying a new medical chiller? It includes the purchase price, the installation cost, and the money needed for repairs over many years. A cheap machine might break often, making it more expensive than a high-quality machine in the end. Point 3. What does the term full-time equivalent mean when you are planning your team's weekly schedule? It is a way to count how many full-time workers you have, based on their hours. This helps you balance the workload, so you have enough people to keep the hospital running safely. Point 4. Why is it important to get 3 different quotes before hiring a company to fix the roof? Competitive bidding helps you find the best price and ensures the hospital does not overpay for work. Comparing different offers allows you to see which company gives you the best value for your money. Point 5. What is a return on investment, and why do hospital bosses care about this number so much? It shows how much money a project saves the hospital, compared to how much the project cost. If a new machine pays for itself quickly, the boss is more likely to give you the money. Point 6. Why should you keep a detailed inventory of all the spare parts in your maintenance shop? An inventory helps you know when to order more, so you never run out during an emergency. Having the right part on the shelf saves you from waiting days for a delivery while things stay broken. Point 7. How does a regular energy audit help you reduce the hospital's monthly power and water bills? It finds where the building is wasting energy like through leaky windows or old, inefficient light bulbs. Fixing these problems lowers the utility costs, leaving more money for patient care and new medical tools. Point 8. What is the purpose of asset management for a healthcare facility manager in a large building? It tracks the age and condition of every machine, so you know when to place them safely. Planning for replacements before machines break prevents expensive emergencies and keeps the patients comfortable and happy. Point 9. Why do you need to check the insurance papers of every outside contractor who enters your hospital? Insurance protects the hospital from being sued if the contractor gets hurt or breaks something very expensive. You must make sure they are covered, so the hospital does not have to pay for their accidents. Point 10. Why is training your staff on new equipment considered a very smart financial investment for you? Trained staff make fewer mistakes, which prevents expensive damage and reduces the need for outside repairmen. Spending money on a class now saves you from paying for a big, avoidable disaster later on. Point 11. What should you do if you notice a big variance in your monthly maintenance budget report? You must investigate why you spent too much money and explain the reason to your boss clearly. Understanding why costs went up helps you fix the problem and plan a better budget for next month. 12. Why is it necessary to keep all your financial records and receipts for at least 7 years? Auditors and government inspectors might want to see them to prove you spent the money legally. Good records protect you and the hospital, showing that everything was done correctly and with great honesty. Point 13. How can building a good relationship with the finance team help you as a facility manager? They are the people who approve your budget, so they need to trust your plans and numbers. When they understand your needs, they are more likely to give you the money for necessary repairs. Point 14. What is value engineering, and how does it help a hospital project stay under the budget? It finds ways to get the same high-quality result for a lower price by changing designs. This helps you finish the project without wasting money, while still keeping the building safe for patients. Point 15. Why must you plan for the replacement of a big boiler many years before it actually breaks? Big machines are very expensive, so the hospital needs time to save up the capital money. Asking for $1 million suddenly is hard, but planning for it over years is much easier. Point 16. What happens to the hospital's money if you buy too many spare parts for the shelf? The money is wasted because it is sitting in a box instead of being used for patients. You must find the right balance of having enough parts without wasting the hospital's limited cash flow. Point 17. Why do you need a backup vendor for things like medical gas or emergency fuel deliveries? If your main supplier has a problem, you need someone else to bring the items you need. A hospital cannot run without oxygen or fuel, so having a second plan is necessary for safety. Point 18. How does a preventative maintenance program save money compared to fixing things only when they break? Small, cheap repairs prevent big, expensive failures, and help the machines last a lot longer than usual. It is much cheaper to change a belt than it is to replace a whole broken motor. Point 19. Why should you always look for utility rebates when you buy new heating or cooling equipment. Rebates are free money from the power company that helps lower the cost of your new machine. This makes the project cheaper for the hospital and shows that you are a very smart manager. AHA Certified Healthcare Facility Manager, CHFM, Section 4. Do you want to lead your maintenance team to success and become the best facility manager today? These questions come with full explanations, which will help you get your certification on the first try. Please leave your suggestions in the comments section below, so we can improve our videos for you. To learn quickly from this course, you must read slowly and repeat the main ideas out loud. Listen to me voice, pause the video when needed, and write down the notes in your book. Welcome to Section 4 of our course, where we talk about managing your staff and your daily paperwork. You are the leader of a big team, and you must help everyone work together very safely today. Hiring the right people is the main part, because good workers make your job much easier for you. You should look for people who have the right skills and a very good attitude for learning now. We need to train our new staff members so they understand the hospital rules and the safety codes. Every worker needs to have a clear job description so they know exactly what they must do daily. You should hold regular team meetings to talk about the goals and the problems of the day together. Good communication prevents many small mistakes and keeps the whole team happy and productive for many long years. You must also evaluate your staff every year to tell them what they are doing well right now. If someone is struggling with their work, you should give them more training and help them improve quickly. Managing your time is a big skill, because you have many different tasks to finish every single day. Use a daily calendar to plan your work, and make sure you have time for your team always. You also have to handle the paperwork for the state inspectors, who come to check the building often. Keep your files organized in a safe cabinet, so you can find any document in a short second. Managing outside vendors is another part of your job, as you must ensure they follow the hospital rules. You should write clear policies for everyone to follow, so there are no confusing moments during the day. When you lead by example, your team will follow your lead and take pride in their work daily. We want everyone to feel valued, so they stay with us for a long time and help us. You must create a safer culture, where workers feel comfortable reporting a mistake without being afraid of trouble. A good leader listens to the ideas of the staff and uses their feedback to make things better. When you plan for the future, you must think about who will lead when you are gone away. This is called succession planning, and it helps the hospital stay strong even when people retire or leave. You must keep records of all the training your team does, to prove they're ready for emergencies. If an inspector asks for proof of fire drill training, you must show them the signed papers fast. Conflict will happen in any team, and you must be ready to solve it with a calm voice. Listen to both sides of a story, and find a fair solution that helps everyone get back to work. Your team depends on you for clear directions, so never leave them guessing about what to do next.